Good afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon, and I thought I'd take you for a walk around my garden and just show you some of the plants. My name is Jenny, and this is Jenny Foo Foo Farm. A few videos ago, I had showed of myself planting some Swiss chard and lettuce, and this is what it looks like now. Looks like I'm going to be picking some fresh lettuce soon and Swiss chard. My tomatoes and basil, and I have a couple peppers there. This tomato I'm going to have to stake up. Starting to get some nice blooms. That's a San Marzano. I just fertilized my petunias. They're mini petunias. These are so pretty this year. I just love the variegation and color. So pretty. Emmy likes them too. On this one you could see there's pinks and purples and yellow and orange. Emmy loves to smell them. And on this table I had put together this little planter. I had planted these pansies from seed, and I have some mint and alyssum, and then there's some petunias as well back in here. I just love the pansies. They don't really like the hot weather, but I'll try to keep them cool. Maybe put them in the shade if they get too much sun out here. The afternoon sun kind of goes around, so once it gets to be like around 4 or 5, there won't be so much sun over here. We had bought this property last year, and we had been working on cleaning it up and hauling out junk and junk and junk and junk. This was all full of junk here. It was completely piled up. There was an old trailer, garbage, glass, everything you could think of, fish tanks. We took load and load and loads out. Now we're working on trails through our woods. This is a nice, cool walking path. We have a lot of trees that we have to trim up. I just love the ferns that are growing along here. And this little tree is pretty interesting over here. It looks like kind of a big bonsai tree. Just the way that it's shaped. So we made a path so we could ride through or walk through the woods. Some of these ferns over here are huge. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with ferns, but I think they're just beautiful. That's a huge one. And all the way down this road, there's a huge topsoil mound where all those big trees are planted in. This is where the bear came through the other day. Kind of surprised me. I was on the porch by myself. He was a pretty good sized bear. There's my husband Tim on the Kubota. We're still working on our house. We have a lot of work to do, but we've done a lot in a short time. We've only been here since last year. These I brought from my other house. I love these hostas. They're just so pretty. I found this crock here, and I thought maybe I'd plant some flowers. I've seen where people have planted flowers. It looks like they're kind of pouring out. We have some lamb's ear here. These peonies, they'll be blooming really soon. And I have some lilies. I'd like to kind of make kind of a nice rustic garden through the woods too. Some more lamb's ear. Sedum down there. Those are really pretty in the fall. Kind of an interesting plant because it almost looks like a succulent. I don't know, maybe it is a succulent. If you guys know if a sedum is a succulent, let me know. And here's another very pretty. I just love it. It's so big. Hosta. That's almost ready to bloom. Has some pretty purple flowers. Emmy's gonna lay down in the shade. Across the street from our house, we can see into Pennsylvania, because we're right on the New York-Pennsylvania border. This is my Mona and her children fountain. I've had her for a long time. I brought her from my other house. And I bought this little solar powered pump from Amazon. It works pretty good. It has a little solar panel in the back. Keeps it circulated, and the birds, and you can see some of the bees come in and drink. The birds come in and just sit in there and take a bath. I had planted some cabbage last week, and I have some bok choy, which I'll probably have to transplant and separate now. So I just kind of started the seeds in there. And then over here I have Savoy. I just did a trimming on my rose, my Patriot rose today. All the blooms had kind of been spent. They looked kind of like they had better days, so I took all those off so it'll give it, like a rejuvenation, and it'll start and give these new blooms a better chance, and hopefully some new growth. In this garden I have some beets, and I mixed in some flowers, some chives, basil, oregano, some thyme, a little bit of everything. I just kind of mixed it up. And these are all the roses that I planted this spring. And I just sprayed them this morning with an organic, it's like has a copper in it so that it wards off like bacteria and fungus issues. You can see that they'll be blooming soon. They all are getting some pretty nice blooms. They'll be blooming pretty soon. In this garden, my peppers and tomatoes that I had planted from all of the extras that I had planted, they're doing really well now. I have some gladiolas mixed in there. My grapevines, a couple of them aren't doing so good, but they do have little green sprout there, so I think there's still a chance. These two on the end look a little better. They have better leaves. And the red raspberries, I planted these as well this spring, and they have raspberries. They're not ready yet, but they will be soon. This is our sunflower patch. My husband just rototilled another area behind the sunflowers here. You can see there's kind of a fresh path rototilled. And we used the Chapin seed planter and planted another 9 varieties of sunflowers. So we kind of succession planted them so we'll get some blooms at different times. These are getting pretty tall though, some of them. Getting pretty big. So I have 2 rows. I know there's some weeds in here, but I definitely have all kinds of wildflowers growing in here that I planted. So I'm trying to be careful not to disrupt the seeds. This whole row is wildflowers. And here you can see like little cosmos. And I planted baby's breath and black-eyed Susies and bachelor buttons. So just a big mix of wildflowers. These are mostly all cosmos up here. An Adelia, which has these really pretty cosmos look nice and green. I had transplanted my rhubarb. I just cut it back. And you could see the new growth. We've had this rhubarb at our old house, and I bet you we've had it for, I don't know, maybe 25 years at least. In this basket, I planted some red cabbages and different kinds of basil, and I'll have to transplant some of those little cabbages into other containers or in another garden. And Sherry likes to lay in my garden sometimes. She loves the dirt. We have marigolds and cosmos. See if I can get a picture of that. Really pretty. And I have one little bachelor's button. You get it in the frame here. Most of the marigolds are orange, but I do have a couple yellow. And then this whole row, there's one dahlia in the middle there, which I just trimmed back, and it has new blooms. The rest are all zinnias. These zinnias I planted in my greenhouse, and they're almost ready to bloom. And these I planted, I direct seeded out here. They're doing pretty good. I have one morning glory there, which I'll have to make a trellis for. There's some ornamental corn down here. I didn't really plant very much, I just planted a little bit. My row of tomatoes. We had a video on planting these. I know I've showed you lots of times. All tomatoes, and they look really good. I'm gonna have to start pruning them back a little bit and staking them up. They're starting to get some flowers as well in here. Couple pumpkins up here. And a whole row of potatoes. Couple more pumpkins. There's the pumpkins. I was showing you the peppers too. But there's a whole row of onions and garlic. Some garlic in on the end. Have a bunch of peppers. And in the end, here we have zucchini, which I love zucchini. Can't wait to get some zucchinis, hopefully. At our old house, we had a lot of woodchucks, so we'd have to fend off the woodchucks to get our vegetables. Here's the garlic. Oh, my shadow's in the way, sir. Some of these zucchinis are still coming up. Beets. Definitely have to thin those out. Cucumbers. Our Kentucky pole beans. They're starting to grow pretty good. And my peas, sugar snap peas. Definitely gonna have to work on the trellis this week. I've been putting it off. More peppers, tomatoes, pumpkins, and the corn that we planted last week. We have a little bit that's coming up, starting to sprout. But that's it. A little walk through the garden on a Sunday afternoon in June. Just wanted you to see the progress of the garden. And so far, I'm pretty happy with the new garden. It's a work in progress. And one of my most favorite trees, this is a gigantic oak tree. So pretty. And I have a couple pear trees. But we'll talk to you again. See you next time. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.